Hello, the youth connection is alive and well. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to Pro-Life Praise with Evangelist Alveda King. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to a very special guest, a colleague. We've been working together for years, and he's just absolutely super with catching the attention of the millennials. We call them sometimes Generation Z, or I call them the ZBs or the crystals. The reason we call young people crystals these days, they have crystal clear vision. And then they are very visual. They like to see things and hear things. They're auditory. And so what we say, what we show them, what they feel when they respond to our messages, that's very important. And Brian Kemper is very good with messaging. He also has a ministry, the Stand True Ministry. I want to say right before we get there, he makes t-shirts too, fabulous t-shirts, and we'll talk about all of that and the pro-life message. Sometimes young people ask me, what's on your earrings? And there'll be a little heart or a cross on my earrings. I wear messages in my jewelry all the time, often medallions with scriptures. This one, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. At our church, I'm on the worship team, and almost every Sunday we wear t-shirts and blue jeans. Can you imagine that? And the t-shirts have messages. So messaging is very important to everyone. But when we're working on reaching the generation today of the youth, we have to have really quick messages that they can get in 40 characters or less, or 140 characters or less, or however Twitter goes, and all of that. But I don't want to take up the whole show explaining that to you when you have Brian Kemper right here. Brian Kemper, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alveda. Thank you. It's funny is the newest thing that I'm on is TikTok, where I have to do my messages in 15 seconds.
Whoa. Okay, that's a lot of fun to be able to bring it down, because what does that mean? The attention span is shorter? Is that what it is?
And you get your videos viewed longer. You can get quick little points out, get discussions going. It actually works very well for that. Anything longer, sometimes people don't watch past that.
Okay, can you back up a little bit from the camera? I see you have on a t-shirt today. Life, Liberty. Tell us about the shirt.
And Life, Liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all, born and unborn.
I really like that shirt. I like many of your shirts, and I think they're very important. Now, you've been doing t-shirts for how long, Brian?
Wow. I would say the very first pro-life t-shirt I made was back in 1994.
Wow. Very good.
When I first started Rock for Life, and then went from there.
Some of them are evergreen as well. So talk to us a little bit first about Stand True, and then how you connect all of that work to Priests for Life, where you and I are we're pastoral associates, and we give messaging and all of that at Priests for Life. But tell us how you connect that message, not only through your t-shirts, there are other aspects to what you do. Talk to us a little bit about what you do, Brian.
Well, Alveda, as you know, I got my start when I started Rock for Life, and then left Rock for Life in 2003 to start Stand True Pro-Life Outreach. And it's funny, is not funny, but just I guess God's providence, the first people to help me with Stand True, well before I was part of the Priests for Life family, were Father Frank and Janet Marana. They saw the vision and what I was doing, our goal to educate, to activate, and equip young people to be the voice, the generation that abolishes abortion. And that's our motto there at Stand True. And we are the youth outreach of Priests for Life.
Now, Father's Day is coming up, and you're a dad and a granddad. However, you remain very relevant with this present generation. And as I said at the top of the show, every message has to be delivered in every generation. So the same message, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. Message is thousands of years old, but it has to be delivered in every generation. So what's your way of delivering that type of message to a young generation that can only have 15 seconds or 140 calories? 140 calories? Oh my God, why did I say calories? Am I hungry? 140 characters. Go ahead. Stop laughing, Brian. Hey, whatever.
Hey, I could use about 140 calories worth of snack right now, but
I know, maybe so. It's that time. But go
no,
ahead.
Alveda, it's I've always just been up following on what's going on. Back when I first started in the pro-life movement, I used Christian rock bands and concerts, something that had never been done, and then creating events so many times. And I remember sitting with Judy Brown many years ago in the 90s, and she said, Brian, what's the best way we could put a message for youth in the magazine that we have for their parents, or the literature that they have for their parents? I said, the best way is to not do that, but to develop stuff that is for them. Develop stuff that's not just, oh, here's a spot in my parents' thing. Let's give young people a way to be a voice and to take ownership of the pro-life movement. And so that's what I've been doing with Rock for Life and Stand True, whether it be T-shirts or stickers or literature or videos and social media, reaching young people where they're at, using technology and things that they know very well. For example, the newest one on TikTok is doing very short videos answering quick questions. Like people say, well, you're a male, you can't have an opinion on abortion or things like that. Answering those and starting discussions with young people and listening to what they have to say. So that's what I've been doing my entire time doing this pro-life work, and continuing on finding new ways to reach this generation. And Alveda, if you remember back in 15, 20, 25 years ago, the first time I went to the March for Life was 1994. But for years, it was like 70 or 80% older people. And when we go now, we're outnumbered, Alveda. We are outnumbered by these
fabulous,
amazing young people.
But the other thing that is said as well, we get pregnant and have our babies and raise them up, so we don't abort our babies. So we, by sheer numbers, we have more young people in our movement. And you think about it that way as well. One other thing, because I do in a moment, I want to show a couple of pictures of your T-shirts and everything in just a couple of moments. But I also notice you wear tattoos. And so sometimes you get criticism, sometimes you get commended. There are bikers for life, for example. People ride the motorcycles, they have all the tattoos and the leather jackets. Me, I'm an old lady, and I wear...
You are not old. You are not old.
Let me tell you, old is not bad for me, because my dad was 39 when he was killed. Martin Luther King Jr. was 39 when he was killed. So I used to be afraid I would never get old. And I wanted to grow old and enjoy life. So now when I hit 50, I was just totally excited. Now I'm 70. And so that's, I've been young and now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous forsaken or their seed begging bread. So old is not a bad thing, because you beat the devil every year. So when I say I'm old, people say, what do you want us to remember about you? You met an old lady who loved Jesus. I'm so glad to have lived 70 years, Brian. I don't know what to do. So that's the only reason I say it. So I'm aged. I have some good age. How about that?
You're wise. How's that one?
Well, I like that one too. I love it.
I reach all people at all ages, whether it's the tattoos or the crazy haircut or whatever. I'll go to concerts, I'll do that, but I also go golf, and I print little pro-life messages on golf balls and then throw them out on the golf course for people to pick them up. So I try to use...
Become all things to all people. Apostle Paul said that. I wear leather jackets and stuff a lot. I like that kind of thing. So we just do that. So I just wanted to explain to my audience, well, how can he be a Christian if he wears tattoos? How can I be a Christian if I like Star Trek? Be me aboard Scotty. That doesn't mean I'm not a Christian. I just watch Star Trek. So we have different characteristics in our lives, but it's our love for life. It's our love for Jesus that counts. And that's why I thought it was very important to have you express and explain those things. Brian, I need you to show me. We're going to take a look at a couple of your T-shirts on screen, and we'll see a couple of your T-shirts. And while those are up, can you tell us, how can people get your T-shirts?
Absolutely. All right. So, the easiest place, prolifeproducts.org, which is the store for Priests for Life, where you can not only get our T-shirts, You can get pro-life literature. You can get books by Alveda King, Father Frank, myself, Kevin Burke, Janet Morana, Teresa Burke, all the family at Priests for Life.
Father Dennis's music is there.
Father Dennis's music.
Father Dennis, wow.
There's just so much stuff on there. You can spend a lot of time on that store and really get some good stuff.
Okay, so, and my other website, alvedaking.com, has many more of my books and songs and music because I have a ministry as well. Mm-hmm. So please go to priestforlife.org and prolifeproducts.org and not only see Brian's t-shirts, but so many more things. And every season we have these little specials that we run. Father's Day gifts. We did Mother's Day not long ago when we get back to Christmas. So you can catch all of our work at priestforlife.org, prolifeproducts.org. Stand True, what's your website? Is Stand True?
StandTrue.com.
StandTrue.com and alvedaking.com. All right. Brian, I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and I'd like to talk about the movie Roe v. Wade and also the legislation, the court order, Roe v. Wade, and what is happening now in the pro-life movement with what we're doing about that, because the pro-life movement has worked very hard. People think all we want to do is get rid of the law Roe v. Wade. That's not true. There's so much more that we do. When babies are born, we support the families. We help people know how to adopt babies. We support pregnancy care centers. We support those who are elected to office to have pro-life legislation to come against the foolishness of critical race theory, for example, or the racism that tells people you're separate races, so one race is better than the other race. So what we need to do is get rid of the races that are inferior. All of that is foolishness, of course, but people will understand that only when we say it in an upstanding way, demonstrate that we care for life from the womb to the tomb. And when we do that, that means the baby's in the womb. Once the babies are born, you care for the whole family. And then the babies grow up themselves and begin to have their own children. So generation to generation to generation, when people become older or sick or have challenges, you love and support. So life from the womb to the tomb. Now, Roe v. Wade is a law that was passed that made it legal to murder babies in the wombs of their mothers. Many people, over 50% of America agrees with that. But it's just the packaging and the messaging. So now in September, Brian, something's going to happen. It's phenomenal. The Supreme Court's going to hear another case about abortion. Do you have any details on that? Because I haven't studied and read it as much as I'd like to.
No, I have not looked at that completely yet. I know that our team at Priests for Life is doing a lot of compiling, and then we'll look at everything and be able to.
So that'll be at priestforlife.org.
Yes.
And we want you, please tune in, come over to priestforlife.org, see what it means, how you can connect audience, listeners, and viewers, connect to your members of Congress, write and do all types of opinions and everything. Ask Congress to be ready in the event that the Supreme Court says that this law was unjust and there are problems. When that happens, we have to be able to go back state by state and be ready to defend life again. So we've never stopped, even when we got a new president. We had President Trump, most pro-life president ever, absolutely. Now we have a president that's totally not pro-life, will kill your baby from the womb all the way up to the tomb. I mean, not just babies, but people. And after, that's what I'm saying. So we are now in a time that we have to be more vocal than ever. That's going to be very important. So there is a movie that's out. I am an executive producer on the film, and it's called Roe v. Wade. It's RoeVWadeMovie.com. Let's see the trailer on Roe v. Wade.
We will hear arguments in Roe against Wade. You may proceed.
If you really want to know how abortion became legal in our country, I will tell you the true story.
Dr. Mildred Jefferson, would you like to head up a Right to Life group that I'm starting?
Dr. Bernard Nathanson's clinics are performing 1,000 abortions per week. That's why I'm taking up the fight.
I wanted to get abortion legalized across the country.
We're looking for a pregnant girl to challenge the abortion laws.
We'll give her a pseudonym. Call her Jane Roe.
It's genius that we no one will ever know about her past.
First, they came after the Jews, and then they came after the mentally deficient. We did nothing. And now they're coming after the unborn. And so you're gonna do nothing?
Robert Byrd for Henry Wade.
No judge or jury in their right mind would ever let abortion happen in Texas.
You've been watching too much TV. This case has nothing to do with women's rights.
It's God's duty to forgive. It's ours to rule the law. You're changing your vote because your family found out. Or was it the media?
If we don't sort this out, fur will fly today. You are trying to control us, Warren, old buddy. That is completely unethical.
In the matter of Roe v. Wade, I want the case re-argued.
Faith in God, respect for his law.
That law being?
Human law.
We got the majority.
We're gonna win.
Perhaps this is beyond the authority of the Supreme Court.
We are the law of the land.
These girls should not be put through the pregnancy and should be entitled to an abortion.
God, forgive me, what have I done?
The true silent minority. Who is speaking for these children?
So, my friends, please support the Roe v. Wade movie. You'll notice in the movie there's a Dr. Mildred Faye Jefferson, who was very instrumental in the pro-life movement her whole life. She was a mentor of mine. I was introduced to her by Dr. Day Gardner. Brian, didn't she stop in on one of your meetings one time?
Yeah, actually, back in the late 90s, I did a TV show called Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. I was a regular on that show. And at that time, Gary Sharon was the third lead singer of Van Halen, and he reached out to me because he loved our pro-life message, and he knew that I was coming to his hometown in Boston to speak. I was speaking at Harvard Law School at a symposium there. So as I got there and got on the panel, there was four of us. I saw Gary sit down, but then next to him sat Mildred Jefferson, Dr. Mildred Jefferson, and I got to speak to her and Gary after. She came to hear me talk, and I was blown away, absolutely blown away, that basically one of the founders of the pro-life movement, somebody who's been so instrumental in this movement, who has spoken so much truth, came to hear me talk. And it was probably one of the greatest honors of my life to have, like these two people come to hear me speak.
Wow. Well, I know how important that was to you at that time, and the memories of Dr. Jefferson and so many who have gone on before us. And here we are today talking about the young people and the youth. Now, I have a song that's out with Kathy Lee Gifford, and it's a bop, they call it, B-O-P, because it bops, it bounces. And the name of that song is Your Way, Yahweh. Some people say it's not really a pro-life song, but it is. Because when you say to God, yes, God, have your way, and we are asking God to help us and strengthen us to help babies live. So I believe that T-shirts or jewelry or TikTok 15-second messaging, all of that is coming together, including music. I do want to show the little 1 minute and 27 piece about Your Way, Yahweh, just to encourage people to see Roe v. Wade, to watch, you listen to Your Way, Yahweh, to get your T-shirts over at the Prolife Praise store, at the Priests for Life store, and continue to watch Prolife Praise as well. Let's look a little bit of Your Way, Yahweh. I have a philosophy, overcome evil with good. That's in the Bible. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So I began to get to know God more, Yahweh. Let me do this your way, Yahweh. And that began to form as a song. So I met Ian and Barry. To my surprise, Kathy Lee Gifford came in on the project, and we began to worship the Lord.
In all the earth, there's none beside you. Open our eyes and let us see.
So it just shows us that we as people can come together. Now we just have to really learn how to say, your way, Yahweh. Are we going to stop doing it our way and start doing it God's way? My name is Alveda King. I'm inviting you to join in the worship experience, Your Way, Yahweh. Have your way, Yahweh. Absolutely. Well, Brian, time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
4th of July is right around the corner. You've got on a shirt that would be perfect for that. Can you stand up one more time and show us that shirt? There it is. And that's a beautiful shirt. I absolutely love that shirt. Well, in just a second, we're going to have one more message from you. It's a video message. And I think it's very, very important. The day I witnessed an abortion. What inspired you to bring us that video, Brian?
You know, I had been wanting to sort of put that story in a nice video, and I have some friends in California who do super high-end videos for companies, and they volunteered to do this for us, and did it as a donation, as a gift to Stand True. So I'm really excited because Alveda, you know, we talked about how in the beginning I did stickers and T-shirts and stuff, and I remember one of the very first things I did was a sticker that just said "Abortion is mean." And the very first student that I gave that sticker to put it on her notebook, and she was in college. And that day that she put it on her notebook, a girl behind her approached her and said, "I have an appointment for an abortion later today, but I'd rather talk to you." And because of that, changed her mind, and that baby is alive today. So when you think, oh, you might get dirty looks or people might get angry with you for wearing a pro-life message, that stuff doesn't matter at all. But what matters is you could end up saving a human's life. And that's one of the reasons I make these things, is because I want people to be able to get that message out everywhere they go. And this video sort of talks about some of that and the ways that we do that at Stand True. I would love for people to follow me on social media. It's Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Kemper, Brian Kemper, K-E-M-P-E-R. It'll be on the video, but we would love for you to follow us and to get involved in the work we're doing.
Well, thank you so much. And remember, folks, we've had many holidays right around this time. We've Juneteenth, Mother's Day's gone, Father's Day, 4th of July coming up. So we can all say a prayer, we can all make a donation, and we can all wear a T-shirt. So get your shirts now, and we'll take this out with a message from Brian Kemper. Until next time.
On January 22nd of 1973, war was declared on this generation. Since then, we have lost over 58 million innocent baby boys and girls. Abortion is a lie that enslaves women, that tells them that their children growing inside their womb are nothing more than a blob of tissue, a choice. We would go inside the abortion clinics, and a girl and I would go in as what we call the truth team. She would ask for a pregnancy test. I would try to talk to people in the lobby and share with them that we could help them, we could provide for them if they didn't want to make this decision. The girl that I was with, she went inside, but she was taking forever. I didn't know what to do, and so I walked up to the front counter to find out where she was, and right then my life changed. Behind that counter was a door that kind of swung open, and lying on a table was a young girl as the abortionist was performing the abortion. Tears were flowing out of her eyes. I can picture her face right now. I witnessed an innocent human being murdered right in front of me, and a young woman probably emotionally damaged for the rest of her life. And I knew from that moment on, I knew that nothing else in my life mattered. I was called to stand up to be a voice for this generation. Stand True is a pro-life outreach for young people. Our goal is to educate, activate, and equip this generation to be a voice that brings an end to abortion. We are calling for young people around the country and around the world to educate themselves, to learn how to talk about pro-life issues, how to articulate the pro-life message, and to go out and to reach their communities.
Before I came to Stand True, I've always been pro-life, but I was never really active about it. It's part of my daily life now to think about it. My nephew was just born a few weeks ago, and when I was holding him, I was just thinking about all of these unborn children who, can't, ever experience the feeling of being held by someone you love. They're destroyed before that could even happen. And Stand True has really activated me in the sense that I realize now that abortion is like the most important issue of our generation, because if abortion is right in the eyes of the people, then anything is okay.
We also like to provide different events. We run the official youth rally for the March for Life here in Washington, D.C. We put on conferences ourselves. A lot of the events we do, the Pro-Life Day of Silent Solidarity, things like that, are ways for young people to get involved, to have that voice. And also, we like to equip young people, putting out really cool pro-life t-shirts and posters and hoodies and just all kinds of different things that young people can use to be able to get the pro-life message out.
I got my start with Stand True actually through Googling cool pro-life t-shirts. I just wanted something that reflected my pro-life beliefs but also had some edge to it. So all the designs that we have, people come up and they ask, what's that mean? Or why do you feel this way? Why do you rock this? Why are you putting that out there? And next thing you know, you've got another person marching alongside with you.
Youth are not just the future leaders of the pro-life movement. They are leaders now. We want to give them a full immersion in the whole movement. The activism, the sidewalk counseling, the protests, the prayer activities, the educational, the media, the conventions, the conferences, the post-abortion healing, the political activism. All these different facets go together, all these different facets meet each other. And is this not a cause great enough? As was the cause of abolishing slavery, as was the cause of ending segregation. Is this not a cause great enough? Is this not a tragedy deep enough to call forth that full response from as many people as possible?
It's not enough to just say you're pro-life. You cannot treat pro-life like it's just a noun, something that describes you. We must treat pro-life like a verb. It's a call to action for this generation to stand up. So we invite you to join Stand True, to find out different ways that you can be involved, to let us help you in being a voice for your generation.